The thoughts and beliefs that were taught by Witherspoon and others had set the worldview of the colonies, and it was manifested here at Concord Bridge. An English king was doing what English kings had done so frequently before. He asserted that his authority was absolute in his dominions. As head of church and state, he believed that he was endowed by God with absolute authority. He held the divine right of kings against all opposition. The Americans, however, with their understanding of total depravity, believed that God had never given anyone absolute authority except for Christ. In the scriptures, they saw that God had placed checks and balances on men's power because all men, even kings, are fallen. In every institution, God placed restraints on the leadership. King George III's refusal to believe that there was any check on his power resulted in the first shots of the American War for Independence being fired at Lexington and Concord.
The British came to Concord Bridge on April 19, 1775, to capture a store of gunpowder which the Minutemen had gathered. A group of colonists resisted the British at Lexington, but were easily defeated. Word spread quickly, and a large force of militia gathered at this location. They ranged on either side of the bridge, 400 militia against less than 100 English soldiers. Firing broke out, and soon the redcoats broke and fled. The British fell back and began their retreat back to Boston. On their way, they suffered many casualties from militia ambushing them along the road. By the time they arrived in Boston, they were a broken force. This fight at Lexington and Concord was the first spark that started the war. The militia gathered and began a siege of Boston, where the British troops were quartered, while the king began making preparations to quell the American rebellion.
The American Revolution came from the Calvinistic principles of the Great Awakening. King George III called it a Presbyterian rebellion. The preachers of America called upon their congregations to resist the encroachments of the king and Parliament, and based on the biblical doctrine of interposition, declare their independence. They believed that their liberty was given by God and they had a right to defend it. This doesn't mean that all the soldiers who fought for independence were actually saved, but at the time many of the cultural thought processes aligned with biblical principles. Benjamin Franklin is a perfect example. While he plainly admitted to not being a Christian, he was friends with George Whitefield and believed that the interposition of providence was necessary for the victory of the American cause.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also visit www.discerninghistory.com for more videos and other resources.